I'm not sure that's for Jesus. Good morning, church. And I think we should be smiling. It's always a privilege to be alive. I hope you know that. So you should smile when you're alive. All right, so this morning, I would be no presentations. I'm the presentation myself, right? So I'll be walking you through my journey, right? How diligence has played, and most importantly, the God factor, right? My brother-in-law will always tell me, don't play down your skill level and your diligence level, right? You always say the God factor. Don't play down your own part. And he will tell me the reason why he says I shouldn't play down my own part is that, have you ever wondered why, out of all the boats that were available to Jesus, he chose that of Peter? Have you ever wondered why? You've not. All right. There are certain things that the Bible does not tell you, but God tells you himself. Apparently, Jesus must have been watching Peter. The Bible says he toiled what? He did what? He toiled what? Toiling, it's another verb for diligence. Toiling, that means you are persistent. You are not giving up, right? So I'm trying to break it down as simple as possible. You are persistent. You are not what? Giving up. Toiling. And that's where the God factor comes in. Peter was not the only person toiling. The Bible records that he had what? He had partners. Right? But Jesus chose what? To dwell in his what? And it also talks about your energy level. Right? You must consistently carry a positive energy level. No matter what. Because faith dwells in positivity. There's a scientific review that is ongoing that says that the part of the brain, right, that promotes anxiety and the part of the brain that promotes gratitude cannot operate at the same time. It's scientifically proven. That means what? If you dwell in being anxious, right, you cannot be positive. If you dwell in being positive, that means the act of gratitude, right, you will be positive. Because gratitude means looking back and saying, God, even though, I have gotten this way, I give you thanks. So I just wanted to open my presentation with that. And that's why I said to you that I am the presentation. When my time is up, just tell me, I'll go. Right? So Peter toiled day and night. So diligence, right? As simple as it is being persistent at something that you had set your eyes on, right? And then going for those things. Going for them does not mean being blind about going for those things. You must know what you need, right, to get to those things. What are the skills that you need? What are the skills? And we're talking about both soft skills and hard skills. Because at some level in life, as God brings you up, it's not your hard skills that they are looking at. They are looking at your soft skills. How do you manage people? Some people call it emotional intelligence. Gone are the days that they'll say they're looking for a child's IQ. Now, it's more of EQ. It's more of SQ, social intelligence. So as the world moves ahead, right, you must know what you need to accomplish those things that you want. And it's very critical. In the journey, the Bible says you must count your cost. If you want to build a building, you must count the cost, right, before you embark on it. It's simply telling you, wherever you are going to in life, it's like you are building yourself. So you must count that cost, right, and then do what? Put everything that it is, right, to get to where you are going to. So my journey started several years ago. I'm looking young and I'm very young, so it's fine. Several years ago, and so I started up, I studied computer science, right, in school. When I was in university, I had always known that it's not more of education, right? But as a young boy, I had to experience life, right? And it's good you experience life. Because when you then are in the life itself, certain things don't really move you because you've experienced them before, right? So I started on in my journey in life and had a very lovely father, blessed memory, right? Who believed that education was key, right? And he was always bothered that, you're not bothered about this education because I felt that I have the brains. When I read, you just read and pass. You know what I'm saying? So, I went on in life and finished university. And that was when the real life started. From there, I sort of decided that I was going to become XYZ. As a young man then, I didn't know what it was. But I knew to succeed in life, you have to have mentors. Just take some of these notes. Mentors. These are people that have gone ahead of you. The life that you aspire for tomorrow, they're already that life today. So they are the easiest people that can tell you how things are. Was it Miles Muro or somebody that says that, I can't remember the person that he said he stands on the shoulders of those that have gone ahead of him so that he can see farther than they have gone. So mentors are very, very key in your life, right? Because without them, you would make silly mistakes that would turn to errors and you'll never be able to get to where you're going to. Without mentors, you make silly mistakes that will turn to errors and you will never be able to accomplish what you want to be in life. So my dad always told me, as I was getting married, he chose some mentor for me, but I chose my own mentors myself, right? As I started career, he told me, if you want to grow further, look for what? A mentor. So my dad was my mentor, right? And he was the one saying, look for what? A mentor. So I had to look for people that what I was aspiring to become, they were already. I wasn't close to them, but I needed to then be close to them. Because you can't look at someone from afar and then get everything you want to get. It's not possible, right? And the Bible is clear on some things. Whatever you consistently behold, you become. Moses beheld God. And when he came down from the mountain, they couldn't look at his face. So whatever and that's why mentors are, because you do what you associate with them. You behold them. As you behold them, you become them. That's why mentors are very, very, very important. So I chose my mentors, right, in different areas, right? Did I make mistakes? Clear. Yes, I did. But what I've learned is that you cannot become who you are in life without making mistakes. They form your stories. You cannot become who you are. So I started up, went to India, right? Because I was in the computer line. Went to India for a year, right? But I was very focused. I would do a lot of things, but my colleagues or my friends that we went there together, they knew that there was something different about me. I was very, very focused. I wasn't distracted. I was very, very, very focused. When there was time for extracurricular activities, I participated. But when there was time for us to be focused, I was very, very focused. And my program was about a year. Instead of staying for 1 year, I stayed for extra months, looking for additional certifications, to get. Then there were only few people in Nigeria that had CCNP. Very, very few. Right? About 300 and something. I was amongst them. Right? And from then came back to Nigeria. And that's why I said the God factor plays. Started in a telecoms firm, right? Multilinks, Starcoms. I'm sure a lot of us know those, very old, But because I also wasn't satisfied with what I was getting there, right? I then moved to another telecoms firm. From there, worked with Stanbic IBTC. And that's why I said the God platform played in. In Stanbic IBTC, they were, during my interview panel, they looked at me and said, you have 2 special skills that we are looking for. And they then said, choose the one that you want. And I told them, I'm looking for a job now. Give me the job. And the lady said, no, choose the one you want. So I chose networking because that was what I was. And she called back and said, yes, we know you chose networking, but we are looking for somebody that fits into this other space. And you are the only one out of about 30 to 40 people that we have interviewed that has both skills. So can you do this? That's why I said the God factor played. Can you do what? This. And it had to do with channels. Then ATM was just coming up, POS was just coming up. Then it was just coming up. And it was the pride of MDs in banks to say, that's my ATM working. So. But it was a lot of work. I went there, and that's where you have to be diligent. You have to have values. Values. I will work Mondays to Sundays. I wasn't married. And you could make a lot of money, right? They will pay you extra time, and the extra time per time was, even we used to make jokes then that you don't need to plan for marriage. Just do some extra time for 3-4 months. You get the money to plan your wedding, and that was how, we're being paid. But more importantly was that you have to be driven. Don't forget, mentors, values, right? And you have to be driven, right? There's something I tell myself. How hungry are you in life? It's not the food that you eat, oh. How hungry are you in life? There are some people that are hungry to change this world. People like Elon Musk. Whether you like them or not, they are not Christians. And they don't let me say the word. They don't, you understand what I'm saying? But they are hungry to do what? To change the world. What are you hungry for? And that's why the Bible says, the what? The world awaits what? Say it out. The world does what? What the Bible is saying is that there are certain things that God has implanted in you that you need to be hungry about to give to the world. If not, that Bible verse will not come to pass. So, how hungry are you? We're not talking about food here. We're talking about how hungry are you to change the world. What was my first thing? I started with what? The God factor. Mentors. Values. Then you must be driven. So I had the drive, consistent drive, right, to always outbeat myself. I wasn't competing with any other person else. I won't lie to you. I wasn't. I didn't know that I wasn't, but I wasn't. But it's now when you look back. I know a lot of us, when you look back now, you say, there were some things that you did that is now adding up now. Are you pastor okay? You'll be like, it's now adding up now. That's why I said the God factor is always very critical. Right? You have to be driven. Peter could not have toiled day and night. You cannot be persistent without being driven. You cannot be persistent if you don't have a goal. Peter had bills to pay. I'm sure the Bible did not tell us, but he had bills to pay. I hope you know that. That's why a man would refuse to go home and say, in this place, we will die there. That's what Peter was doing. He was dying there. In this place, we will die in this place. That's what Peter did. Am I right or wrong? How many husbands and wives know that? That there are times that you would not, when you talk back, I'm tired, you'll be like, what is chasing me? I can't go back home. So Peter toiled. He was driven. And that was why it was easy for God factor to play. Right? You always have to have something doing for God to amplify you. You always have to have something doing for God to amplify you. So, Peter toiled. He was driven. And it's what? Jesus stepped in. And that was why Peter was prepared. Because if Peter had not toiled, if he did not have an expectation, if he was not driven, if he was not hungry, it would have been easy for him to give up. Am I right or wrong? And that's where the energy comes in. You have to be driven. You have to be driven. You have to carry a positive energy. And that's why Peter said to Jesus, "At what? Thy word." Have you ever wondered? Peter was in desperation. He was also in despair at the same time. Do you know that? Because how can you toil day and night and you will be tired now? You will be. But Peter had what? Skill. I remember what I said. I said, count the things that you need. Identify your goals. Count those things that you need. I went for training, came back, got that job. I did not stop at that. Right? I began to look at the trainings that I would need to get to the next level. Was I confused at sometimes? Yes, I was. But at those times, God factor played in. Right? The next job that I will get will provide guidance. That's why I said, at those times, God factor played in. I don't underestimate, I don't, and I will never do it. At that time, I would be confused. I've gotten offers, I'll be like, and my wife will be like, and I'll pray. I won't hear anything. I'll ask other people to pray, pastors. They'll tell me God says, don't take that job. But one thing you should also know, and that's where I will stop and speak more, are patterns. You must understand how God deals with you. There is a pattern to everybody. You must understand the pattern of how God does what? Deals with you. Right? And I will speak more on this area. At every point in time that I've been confused, right? I've found out that when I want to change jobs, there will be this stillness in my soul. I will not be satisfied with where I am. There might not be any job at that moment. I will not be satisfied. There will be stillness in my soul, right? And something will just appear then. I've understood it times without number. All the jobs that I've gotten, I've worked in 8-9 places, all together, right? And every time that I've wanted to make a move, there's a pattern that I recognize. I'll be very still. I won't contribute. I'll just be quiet. And something will just, even when there are several jobs, then people will pray, but my mind would be still and say, this one, take it. In fact, the last job that I have that I'm currently doing, someone walked up to me and says, if you go to that place, you will regret it. And this is somebody I respected. But because I understood pattern, and that's why I said that's the last thing that I will speak on. You must recognize patterns in your life. Because I understood patterns, right? I knew that God wanted me to be in that place. And that's where I am today. Right? Don't clap for me, clap for Jesus, right? That's where I am today. Am I the best in my industry? Possibly not. Am I the most favored? Yes, I am. You understand? Last year, I received an award for the best CIO, CTO in the banking industry, right? So, was I the best? No. But am I the most favored? Yes. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I said to you, you must understand patterns, right? I hope I've been able to give you a quick recap of how God has brought me this far, right? And I said I am the presentation myself. You understand? I could have done PowerPoint. I would have read it. But, Mrs. Osakolo said something. He says, we are not just talking about doors. Doors what? I am the doors now. You understand? I am the doors now, So God has made me an example, right, unto people. So there are two things that God does. Either makes you an example or a warning. You understand what I'm saying? In the life of Judas, he became what? A warning. But Peter was almost becoming what? A warning. But God stepped in and says that the devil sees what? To deceive you. You understand? To sieve you, right? And I want to also say something, right? In life, we will all fail. You will all fail. Anybody that says you will not fail is a liar. But what comes out of the failure is what matters most. And you must also understand the pattern in which God deals with you. What comes out of failure is what matters most, right? Because the devil will sieve you. What the Bible is saying, the devil will sieve you, he will isolate you, right? From the brethren that can take care of you. Isolate you totally and put you somewhere so that he can deal with you. You understand? So in career, we would all make mistakes. And I'm saying that because for career-minded people, entrepreneurs would all make mistakes. But don't allow the devil to sieve you away from the people that will help you. Right? Be in the midst of people that you will do what? You would get value. So, I keep talking about my dad because, now when I look back, or blessed memory, when I look back, I know his importance in my life. I know that he was the one that has led me, in the way that I've gone. Every time I look back, I appreciate the things that he has done. He told me, don't make friends with your age mates. Yes. I didn't understand what he was saying then when I was growing up. You are just jumping about. Don't make friends with your age mates. Look for people that have. And if you look at my friends, my wife even says it, all your friends are older than you. All my friends, majority of them are in their 50s. Because you get solid advice from elders. That's why the Nigerian parlance will say, what an elder sees sitting down, even you in an aircraft that is in the sky, you will not see it. Thank you very much.
That's the phone number on WhatsApp 0805 888 1818. We have some questions here, so I think you should go first.
All right. So this question goes to Mr. Segun Phillips. The first question here says, as you go up in the ladder, okay, as you go up in the ladder through diligence, how important is it? How important is the place of integrity, and how important is integrity in the place of diligence? Did you get the question, sir?
Maybe you can read it again.
As you go up the ladder through diligence, how important is the place of integrity, and how important is integrity in the place of diligence?
All right. Thank you once again. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so recall that I had mentioned that you must have your values. If you remember, it was one of the things that I said. So I tell people that it is not what comes in you that corrupts you. It is what you do with what comes inside of you.
Yes.
I want you to mark that. It might be very tricky, but I'll explain what it means. You see a lot of things, right? You behold a lot of things. But when you choose to think about what you behold, right, and act on it, I hope you understand what I'm saying. So before you start anything, right, what values do you have? Because someone said something. He said, when you become a very rich man, you understand, and your values are still intact, then you can come and tell me that you're not corrupt. So your value system matters a lot. It is that's what will strengthen you in those times, because you would, space of leadership, as you grow up, as you go up the ladder, it becomes more lonely. Because number one, the people that you can trust, right, are not within your social space. You always have friends outside of what is happening at work. But more importantly, you need someone at work, right, that you can trust. Because that's the only time that if you don't trust people, they won't trust you. So integrity must be your core value. If integrity is not a core value that you have, believe me, you don't even need to go up the ladder. As a gate man, you will steal. I heard of a story of someone that, a gate man that saw dollars, as in dollars. So it's not how high you go, it is the value that you have. And he took that dollars, real life, right? Reported and said, I saw this money. You understand? Do you think the gate man did not need money? I reported, I saw this. Even the person reported said, you saw this money. And you don't, he said, no, okay, I saw it. And he reported. And the person that had the money blessed that guy. You understand what I'm saying? But the guy could have said, you know what? I have problems to solve. I will take that money. But whether or not the person was going to bless him, he chose to do what? So that's why I'm saying that it's not dependent on your position. It's dependent on your value system.
All right, thank you. I have another one. Okay, 3 actually.
No, it's fine.
First one, as a young man in the banking industry, number 1, how did you manage resistance on your way up and challenging situations? 2, how do you maintain your focus and commitment to diligent effort, even when facing obstacles or setbacks? And 3, what strategies do you use to remain diligent in the face of distractions or competing priorities? And there's a 4th one. How did you handle the pressure of delivery under a very tight schedule?
Okay, so let's take it
First
one after. Okay.
How did you manage resistance on your way up and challenging? Okay, how did you manage the resistance on your way up and challenging situations?
Okay. Truthfully, there are times that you feel very, very uncomfortable with resistance. And it goes back to the place of mentors. And I'm telling you the real life things that helped me. And if you look at everybody's story, it hides under those pillars. I've always had mentors. One way or the other, God brings them to mind, in contact with me. Earlier on when I started my career, right, I had a boss that were at loggerheads. When I mean loggerheads, because I knew more than him. Or I had more technical capabilities more than him, right? But I was also foolish. Because I had more technical capabilities more than him, I wanted to show him that, oh God, I know this work. You don't know this thing more than me. He would tell me, don't do this. I would say, that's what I will do. I will not even say that's what I will do, but I will go ahead, I will do it. I will take the shine. But I was being foolish. You know why? Because I was building more enemies for myself. Because his own contemporaries were watching me to say, if you could do this to this guy, you know what I'm saying? You do it to many one. To a lot. That's when my problem started. So you have to, first of all, be foolish, right? Make mistakes, and then learn from your mistakes. But I had the benefit of mentors. So I had people that would call me and say, Oga, what you are doing doesn't make sense. Did I agree with them? But I did not. But when I look back now, like, Segun, you were foolish. You understand what I'm saying? But in that foolishness, that's what had made me wise now. So I recognize things easily, right? I know how to So I tell people, is there politics in workplace? Obviously, yes. If anybody tells you no, it's lying. But don't play it. Recognize it. Don't play it. Do that which you are called to do. You understand? Do that which you are called to do. Your work will speak for you. You understand? So, did I answer that question? I answered it by mentors. Look for mentors. I was foolish, I'm telling you. But even that my boss today, it got to a state that if I'm coming to work, my heart will be palpitating. I'm going to this work again. Unknowingly for me is that his own heart was also palpitating. To say, this stupid boy again. Yes, because I was putting him under immense pressure. I was making him irrelevant. But you now know what? If you see me and him, you'll be like, these two guys, we are best buddies. As in, we are very close. As in, even my wife will ask me, we are extremely very close. Because I was being foolish. Maybe he also didn't manage it very well. But we both learned. And we worked with each other for more than 5 years. He began to and don't take advantage of your boss's shortcomings. Because where you are not, they are there. They are the ones that will speak for you. And if they know that you are doing something, they know. Don't think they don't know. Everybody has highs. People that will come and do eye service for you, they are there. Everybody has eyes. So don't take advantage of their shortcomings. Compliment who they are. Because in doing so, in serving, you are gradually becoming a leader yourself. You understand?
All right, thank you, sir.
Second question.
So second question, how do you maintain your focus and commitment to diligent effort, even when facing obstacles or setbacks?
All right. It's a very tough question, and it doesn't have one straight answer. First of all, I've always lived by this mantra, and I learned it from another mentor as well. Leave a place better than you met it. So that has become my watchword, right? So when I'm faced with obstacles, and because by the grace of God, I look at things in a very positive way to say, it might just be like this for a while. People who say I don't go through problems. I just always have this attitude of, these things will not last. It will also pass. That's the attitude that I always carry. It won't last. It will also pass. Right? So, and because of that, my watchword of leaving a place better than meeting it, I always look for ways to solve my problems. I say that we are employed to solve problems. Without problems, many of us will not have jobs. So, majority of the time, yes, I don't sleep. The people that work with me, you send me emails at 3 a.m., I'll respond. Sometimes I'll choose not to respond, but I'll call you in the morning and I say, I saw your mail, but I didn't just want to respond. Right? You have to just be at that level. I'm not yet there. I'm still growing. I have people that I look up to. Right? There are some of my bosses at work that are like, I send him mail at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., he's responding. You know, or he sends me email and he says, okay, you're not sleeping. I say, when you employ me, you're not sleeping. Why should I sleep? You know? So, but leaving a place better than I met it keeps me on. So at every time that I have problems at work, I'm looking for a way to leave that place better than I met it. So it always helps me.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So I have the instruction to pose some questions from you, because the last question, you tended to answer it with the other ones you answered. So please, let's appreciate Mr. Segun Phillips.